everything right, it was you and me.
Hello everyone, my name is 𝓲𝓸𝓬𝓲𝓪 and welcome back to my channel, or two if you are new. And today's video is going to be some forbidden romance recommendations. I decided to choose 5 and then do this video again later in the future. I have a huge list, so it was so hard to find the ones I wanted to talk about the most, but I'm very excited to talk to you guys about them. Forbidden romances is one of my favorite subgenres of romance. They're just so much fun. That hello forbidden aspect. Most of them are super taboo, and they're just a lot of fun because it's like we can't be together because ... and that's what the premise of this video is. We can't be together because blank, whatever the reason is. Before we get into this video, don't forget to subscribe for more romance recommendations as well as other bookish videos. If you love reading, come and subscribe to me. I make tons of recommendation videos as well as some other fun bookish content. And yeah, also don't forget to leave a like and a comment if you enjoyed this video. And without further ado, let's get right into it. So the first book that I have here is The Worst Best Man by Mia Sosa. This is actually one of the first like contemporary... looky here, it's been months since I've read this book and I didn't even notice this was gone, but a bookmark was in there. So basically we have The Worst Best Man by Mia Sosa, and this is about a wedding planner who has always loved weddings, loved all of that. And so when it was time for her wedding, she was very surprised to be left at the altar. She thought this guy was the love of her life. She was excited to marry him and start a new life with him, and he ends up leaving her. So unfortunately, his brother and the best man had to relay the message to the wife-to-be that her fiance wasn't going to come to the wedding. And for that, she kind of always held this resentment towards the best man and the brother. And so later on down the road, they end up having to do some type of business deal together that's bringing them back together. She hates him. She can't stand him because obviously she thinks that he's the reason why her wedding didn't work out. And it was really cute. I love this romance so much. It's basically, we can't be together because you're the brother of my ex-fiance, and I love that. It was so fun. The drama in here was so much fun to read about. If you really enjoy some rom-com-y type of books, this is perfect for you. I was laughing and dying the entire time, and I was incredibly anxious because I didn't know where this story was taking this couple. The next book that I have for you guys is We Can't Be Together Because You Are My Piano Teacher. And so for this, we have Dark Notes by Pam Godwin. I recently just finished this book and I really enjoyed it. It was a 4-star read for me. And it was so much fun, but also there was some touchy subjects in here, so definitely check out the trigger warnings. The ones I can remember off the top of my head is trigger warnings for sexual assault, rape, underage relationships. What else do we have? We have death of a lost one, and that's the ones I can remember off the top of my head. But basically it's set in New Orleans, which I just love. New Orleans, I visit every summer. My grandparents live there. Also, there's tons of different Louisiana landmarks that they talk about in here, and it made me so happy. But Dark Notes is about this young girl, and she attends this prestigious, expensive high school where basically all of these students are in the arts and they're going to make it big. It's super high profile and hard to get into, but she got in and she is a senior now in this high school. She wants to attend the best musical college, and her music coach, who has been teaching her this entire time all throughout high school, actually recently got fired, and they had to bring in a new guy. The new teacher has some things in his past that are kind of plaguing him. That's why he's here in the first place. But the hero and the heroine, they had an instant connection. She was super attracted to him. He was super attracted to her. It's also a dom sub relationship in here, so it was lots of fun. I really felt for the character in so many circumstances. She goes through so much. She basically has to deal with a mom who isn't good. She's always trying to find money to get high, and her brother who's low-key abusive, and his brother's friend who's also abusive. And she doesn't fit into her school because everybody else there is rich and they call her names and they make fun of her. And so she really finds comfort and solace with her new teacher, and it is a little bit disturbing. She is over the age of consent, but obviously she's still underage and not an adult. So this one's incredibly dark, so make sure if you would like to get into this and be 100% sure. Don't say I didn't warn you. Definitely check out the trigger warnings. It is dark though, and some things are even a little bit too much for me. I was like, whoa there. I usually don't flinch at things, but I was like, okay, this might be a little much. But it was still super good. I gave it 4 stars and I really, really enjoyed it. The next book that I have is We Can't Be Together Because You're My New Soccer Coach. And we have Culti by Mariana Zapata, obviously the holy grail of, this is probably like my favorite sports romance ever. It was just so much fun and I loved it. So basically we have, first of all, if you aren't familiar with Mariana Zapata, she writes huge chunky books and they're incredibly slow burn. So if you don't like slow burn or you really do enjoy slow burn, check out this one or stay away from it. It's obviously up to you. But here we have Culti. Culti is about this professional soccer player named Sal, and she's been obsessed with soccer ever since she could remember. Her whole family's into soccer. Her brother plays for a professional soccer team, and she just loves soccer. And so, obviously, growing up in a big soccer family, she would always watch soccer on TV, and she had an obsession with this guy named Reiner Culti. He's a really big soccer player. As she grew up, she watched him play everywhere, and she was kind of obsessed with him. She wanted to marry him, like most young girls have their fan crushes, Justin Bieber for some. I don't know. She was basically obsessed with Reiner Culti. He was her role model, her inspiration, the love of her life. Obviously, he's never met her because he's way older and he's a professional soccer player, and it was just a fan. So basically, years go on and she starts playing for the soccer team. It's a professional soccer team. And Reiner Culti kind of falls off. He has been getting into scandals. He's kind of retired and he's gotten into injuries. He's just kind of done for. And so Sal was super surprised to find out that her new assistant coach is Reiner Culti, the soccer legend, the soccer icon. And she's realizing that the guy that she's built up in her head this entire time is nothing like the sort. He is Reiner Culti. He's an asshole. He's mean. He is super judgmental, and she's not sure if she likes this new Reiner Culti. She kind of just wants to live in that memory in her mind. But obviously they form a connection and things happen, and it's really great. I love this book. This is probably my favorite Mariana Zapata that I've read. I've read this one and then The Law of Winnipeg and Me. I think I like Culti a little bit more. Trust me, if you aren't into slow burn, you might still want to give this a chance, because I can tell you the end was worth it in my opinion. It was so much fun to finally get to that point, and having that long drawn out development of these characters just made the ending so much more sweet and better, and I loved it. The next book that we have is We Can't Be Together Because You're My Boyfriend's Best Friend and My New Roommate. So for this one, we have Thoughtless by Essie Stevens. This is actually a trilogy, I believe, but you can only read the first one. I'm only planning to read the first one. I mean, I've read it, but I'm not going to continue with the series just because I'm so happy with the way this ended, and I don't want anything to taint that. Some people in my comments are telling me that I should really continue with the series, and because the development of the characters is great. So I might do that if I'm missing a world and the characters, but for now, this is such an amazing book, and I'm happy with the way it ended. Also, in this book, there is cheating. I know lots of people do not like cheating. I'm one of those people who don't really mind it. I don't really care. I think, honestly, it adds a little bit of more fun to this, obviously in books and not in real life, but this does involve cheating. So if you are against that, don't pick this up. If you don't like to read about cheating, don't pick it up. But Thoughtless by Essie Stevens is about this girl, and she has a boyfriend, and she's kind of uprooting her whole life to fit his. She's a senior in college, and her boyfriend is a year older, so he's already graduated. He kind of is like, hey, I want to move to Seattle, and she's like, okay. So she moves with him because she's so in love with him. She doesn't want to part with him, and she kind of leaves her whole family. She's always grown up in Georgia, I believe, and now she's in Seattle. So they end up getting a roommate, and the roommate is actually one of her boyfriend's best friends back when he was growing up. He's from England, I believe, and he came to the US as like a exchange student. He stayed with the guy that's now his roommate. This guy has extra rooms, so he invites them to be their new roommate, and something happens in this book where the boyfriend actually has to end up leaving Seattle. He's like, hey, I hate to do this, but I have to leave Seattle. And because of this, she starts exploring things with the other guy, but only for the boyfriend to come back right away. It's super forbidden. They cannot be together. Obviously, the boyfriend doesn't know that she's been cheating, and she has been cheating, but it's so good. And the development, it just worked out perfectly. I love this book so much. Actually, talking about this, I might actually want to pick up the second book already. I don't know. But I love the series, and obviously it's forbidden because she has a boyfriend, he's a roommate. And what's even more fun about this is that the roommate is a rock star, and that's so much fun to read about. I'm kind of getting into rock star romances. I think they're so much fun, so this one is perfect if you like all those things. And it was super taboo, super forbidden, loved it. And the last book that I have to talk to you guys about today is We Can't Be Together Because I'm Your Doctor and You're My Patient. And so for this one, we have Medicine Man by Saffaron A. Kent. I love Saffaron A. Kent. She kind of writes like 𝓼𝓸𝓬𝓲𝓪-esque, not her poetry book, but just like what she sings about, like being this, I can't even explain it, but like this young girl falling for older men kind of type of vibe. And I'm into that while reading these books, and it's so much fun. So basically we have Medicine Man, and it actually takes place in a psychiatric hospital. This girl, she is severely depressed. She hates her life, and I'm pretty sure she attempts to kill herself, which is what lands her in the hospital in the first place. So she's been there for a while, and in comes the new doctor. He starts seeing her and getting to know her and helping her, prescribing her medicine, and they form a really deep connection. Obviously, that's against the rules. Like, he's her doctor, that's a patient, like, not allowed. She obviously has stuff that she needs to work out in her own head, and he has also stuff that he needs to work out as well. So there's that. There's just a lot of things with this book, but she kind of ends up growing a little bit attached to him, and she needs him in her life, and it's really hard to read about. If you've ever struggled with depression, I would look into this book and make sure you would actually like to read about it. I personally really enjoyed this book, and I think it covered mental health really well. Obviously this is dramatized and made into this big production, but I feel like when you're reading about the heroine's depression and everything that she's gone through, it felt similar to my thoughts anyways. So yeah, I really enjoyed this book. Obviously they're doctor patient, so they can't be together, but things end up happening. I'm not gonna spoil it, but I love this book. And yeah, that was my last recommendation for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to leave a big like and a comment down below. I would love to know if you've read any of these books or some of your forbidden romance recommendations. I am always looking for new ones. Also, let me know if you want a part 2. I have like 20 more books to talk about on this list, so let me know. I will definitely do it. That is all. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.
If I got one thing right, it was you and me.